Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Hawk. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Today is day 7. Had to check on that. Day 7 of our 2-week challenge. So we only have 2 more days left. This is bittersweet. So thank you guys all so much for joining us. And you might notice that something is a little bit different today. Today, we're not streaming on Behance, we're streaming on YouTube because 99U is going on. 99U conference is on Behance all day, so make sure you check that out. So welcome to everyone in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and pull up Behance. Let me get that up and we can see what today's challenge is. So I am on behance.net/challenge/XD. And we can go ahead and get started. So if you want to follow along with me, make sure you already have selected this button, and that way every day at 8 a.m. you'll get notified in your Creative Cloud app up here that there's going to be a new challenge, that there's a new prompt. So let's go ahead and see what today's challenge is. Let's scroll on down and look at all these that we've already accomplished. You guys have been designing so many amazing designs, so thank you so much for sharing those with me. And let's go ahead and scroll on down. So today, what I want you guys to focus on is button states. So I want you guys to design different button states for a coffee e-commerce website. So consider what your button should look like before, during, and after the interaction. So let's go ahead and grab our starter file. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit get started. You can come over here to the download button and just hit direct download. And this is what that's going to look like. So this is the starter file. As always, I don't give you guys all of the components. I know sometimes some of you ask me, where are the components? But I just want you guys to be able to design your own, come up with your own awesome designs. So that's where you can get this starter file. Let's head back here. So as always, if you missed any of these days, you can always go back and rewatch any of these streams, both on Behance or YouTube. So today is only on YouTube though. So also, let's scroll on down here. There's lots of different ways that you can get involved, as always. So if you're not already a member of Discord, I highly encourage you guys to sign up. You can just hit the join us button right here, and this will take you to Discord. It'll ask if you want to create an account, and I am already logged in. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is Discord. If you're not already a member, definitely sign up. We've got about 47,000 of you guys already signed up. So thank you so much for doing that. And on the left side here, we've got all of our channels. So feel free to explore around some of these. This is the Creative Challenge channel. So just if you want to know the schedule, like when I'm going live and such, Sam will let you know in here. And the current challenge channel, this is where all of you guys have been posting your amazing work. So if we just can scroll through some of these, I've been loving seeing what you guys are working on. And we've got one from Zoomkoa, awesome. Yesterday was the like newspaper sort of website. So we worked on the pretty new, 2 days. This is a new feature in XD. Scroll groups. So definitely check that stream out if you missed it. What else? Ask a question. If you have any questions, you can ask it in here. We've got lots of mentors online to help you guys out with. So that is Discord in a nutshell. And welcome to everyone that's just joining. We've got Amna, Muntasir. Sorry guys if I'm butchering your names. I'm not very good with names. So welcome in everyone. Cornell, Carlos. Awesome, you guys found me even though I'm on YouTube today, not on Behance. All right, so this is the starter file. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So like I mentioned, we're designing a coffee e-commerce website. So what we're gonna be working on is the button states. So before, during, and after our different button states. So we're gonna be working right here in the components panel. It's grayed out right now, but I'll walk you guys through it, do not worry. And we've got some inspiration down here. So this one by Dindra, you can make something like this if you want. Scrolling through the different types of coffee, I'm going to be doing a desktop site, but if you want to do mobile, that's fine too. I do think desktop, it's a little easier to show all the different states because you can do hover on desktop, and of course there's no hover on mobile. So just something to think about. And this one by Martina, thought was kind of cool. You can show, the different sizes if you want any extra like flavors or anything in your coffee. Resource booklet, as always. Just hop through some of those tabs, see some of my favorite resources. And okay, so tips. This is an important tip today, I think. So this is related to button states. So I remember my first job, we always would argue about, all of us designers would argue about what color and like what opacity and saturation the different button states should be. So like, should hover be dark or should it be light? Should pressed be super saturated or dark or light? And we came to the conclusion that we wanted to use nature to determine how to use opacity. So if you think of, I'm going to try to explain this without getting too crazy. So this is our ground level. And if you think of our buttons are going to be a hole in the ground. So when you raise ground level, that will be our hover state. So it's kind of like we're hovering over the ground, and this area will get more sun, and it's lighter and less saturated since it's getting more sun. So this is above neutral, so that's hover. And then just our normal ground level, that is just equivalent to neutral. Nothing's pressed, nothing's like focus state, nothing's hovered, just neutral. So that will be fully saturated button at ground level. And then like once I need another hand. So once you go down a level, so you press into the ground, that is going to be like you're creating a hole. That's going to be in the shadow. So that would be equivalent to our pressed state. So it should be darker and have some black added. So that is how I like to think of just styling for button states. So hopefully that helps you out a bit as we're working today. And of course, be sure to share on Behance and Discord when you're done. Cool. So let's go ahead and get started, making sure we don't have any questions. Andy asked, does Adobe XD have auto layout? We have auto animate. Also, there is the stacks feature. I do want to go over that. That's not our focus today, but I think that might be what you are looking for. So if you go to the latest features and stacks, so you can kind of rearrange things automatically, just like drag and it'll snap to different points. So try that out. All right, so blank canvas, 1920 by 1080. Of course, if you want to start a new artboard, just come over here to this little artboard icon and hit 1920 or whatever size you want. And I'm gonna get started. So I've got these cute little artisanal sort of coffee beans, and I want that to be part of the logo. Just got these from Adobe stock. And this I'll call just like roast. Something kind of cute like that. And bring it right there, a little bigger. Okay. Yes, okay, Andy asked, I meant auto layout as in set padding parameters on buttons. Yes, there is padding parameters. I did one of my previous daily creative challenges on that, but basically if you add a button and then you like start saying something, add that here. If you group these together, you can come over here into padding and set any of these corners. So if you adjust this word, it'll automatically update. So yeah, it's right over there. You have to group the button together though first. So it's right there. And okay, so let's go ahead and add just a menu on top. So we'll say like home, just kind of aligning it right along this roast right here. Copy and paste, and then we'll just add a few more. Coffee, of course. Make this semi-bold since we want that to be selected. Actually, let's copy this. And maybe if you want to buy mugs, that would be fun. Gift cards. And maybe like buying bean grinders. And one more, maybe just like about. And let's just underline coffee so it looks like it's selected a little better. And we'll give this a little bit of color, a little bit of brown. Okay, so that looks good. We've got our top menu up here. Let's just bring this over a tad bit. Okay. Now I just want to add like some repeat grid rows of different coffee bags over here, but I actually want to focus on this area first. So this could be a little searching area. So maybe you're someone new to coffee and you don't know like what type you want. So let's just ask the user some basic questions. So we'll just ask a question. What type of coffee are you looking for? And then we'll bring in those button states since that's the focus today. Oops. And we will ask them some of those questions. Okay, and the font I'm using, this is called Jubilat. Center this. Okay. Bring this up a bit. And then below this, let's just ask a few basic like coffee questions. So we'll say like maybe the roast type. Center this. So this whole column, I just want to be centered. And then we'll say like, give them a few options. Light. Actually, I want to change this font. Just light, medium, and dark. There's also blend, but I'm just going to keep these three. I would consider myself a coffee aficionado. I'm kind of obsessed. I've got all of the coffee equipment you could ever dream of. It is a hobby. Okay, so I'm just adding some little dividers in between here. And let's just ask them a few more questions. And then we'll add some button states on one or two of these. So this one we can ask maybe like variety. What variety do you want? And we'll say Arabica. There are like 3 main kinds. I've got them written down over here so I don't forget. Because I probably wouldn't know that. Liberica. So those are the 3 main kinds. Maybe you're learning something new today about coffee. And maybe 2 more questions. So this is an important one. So like bean type. So do we want whole bean or just ground bean? Those 2. And again, we'll just center these. And one more question. This one can be caffeine. So do we want it caffeinated or not? Caffeine or decaf? Perfect. And then there's a little bit of extra negative space down here, so I'm gonna add this cute little illustration of some beans in a bag. How cute is that? I got this from Adobe stock, and it's actually like all the vector points are editable, and I didn't know you could download that sort of thing from Adobe stock. So it was an Illustrator file. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and add like a button state to this row, or maybe just this one we'll start with. So what we need to do, so each one of these is going to be a different button with a different like 3 states. So I'll start on light, and if you remember watching the hover state design daily creative challenge, I don't remember what day that was, but last week sometime I think. So we use the component states, and all you do is press the plus button. So again, we've got, it says master here. So you'll know it's master because it has the filled in diamond. And this is just the same thing as we went over with hover. But basically you can add a new state, and we want to add 3 states. So we've got the default state, which is not pressed, nothing's happening, no hover or anything. So we'll add a hover, and then we'll also add a pressed. And if you want to add more states too, that'd be great. I'm just going to focus on these 3 though. So hover state, and you can rename it whatever you want just by double clicking in there. But let's add, so make sure when you're adding a background to any CTA button, you double click into that component. So now we know that we're editing only in the hover state. So let's add the background. I'll round the corners a bit, and I will make this just a pretty light gray, just matching this gray, just super subtle so we know that it's just hover. So we've got our default state, which is just nothing, just regular text, and we've got our hover state, and let's add one more, so we'll call this pressed. And now we've already got our background, so I'm just gonna double click in there and we can change this color. And yeah, I think it's just, let's make sure, yeah, it's just the same black. And I'm also going to change the text to white. So now if we go back to default state, we do need to go into prototype mode to make sure the interactions all kind of link up. So let's go over here. We've already got the trigger for hover. So XD always knows for hover state, you want the hover trigger, of course, and the destination is hover state. I'm not going to do any easing because I just want it to be super fast. But let's also add the interaction from hover state to press state. So we need to add that. The trigger will be tap now instead of hover on this one. And the type, we'll just do a normal transition. We don't need auto animate or anything, and no animation. So just, I usually, if it's just button states, I remove all those extra animations. And then from pressed, let's go back to default. So we need to add that interaction as well. So let's press that plus button. Again, the trigger will be tap, and the transition, normal transition, and the destination, let's do this little drop down, will be default state. So let's just preview this so far, and make sure when you preview, you have to go back to default state. Otherwise you might start on just a different state. So let's preview this, see what we got. So if I hover, I'm not clicking, just hovering right now. Looks nice. And then if I click, hold on, let me make sure I've got this right. Hover state and transition pressed. Whoops. Okay, let's preview this again. And then when we press, it goes to our press state, so our filled in. And then if we press it again, it just goes back to default. So that is, and you might want to edit like the speed of how fast it changes from default to hover if you want. But that in a nutshell is button states. And I'm like running out of time very quickly, but I do want to fill this in a bit, see how quickly I can do this. So let's just add, I've got some components over here. I basically just want to fill this in with some like coffee bags of beans. And I want this to look like pretty artisanal. So I'm going for like organic looking bags. And we can add, oops, I've got some components over here. So price, I want to add that. And I'm not adding too many colors on this because I kind of want the like drawings and the brown color of the bags to stand out. Let's do like French vanilla will be one. Bring this right here. And then we'll say it's a light roast. Bring this right here, just underneath. And then all we need left is like a plus icon. Here we go. So they can add it to their cart. So let's add that right there. And then we can just group all these together. Oh my gosh, I just realized this little dollar sign is like insanely small. That's better. So let's group all these together. And then I'm just gonna do this super quick. Repeat grid. Boom. Super quick. And boom. And again, if I drag this down a bunch, we could do the same thing we did yesterday with the scroll groups. So let's add that real quick since we're on this. So here's scroll groups. This was super fun yesterday. So I want to scroll vertically. So I'm going to click that vertical scroll, and I just want the like bounding box mask to go up just a tad bit so it doesn't run into this border right here. So just a touch. And I've also got this component of like what scrolling page we're on. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and preview the whole thing. So we've got our scroll groups right there, super fun. Oh, and I need to put the button state back to default. Whoops. And we've got our button state, so we've got hover, if we just hover over it. We've got press, if we actually tap it. And then if we tap it again, we go back to regular. So there you go. Super fun. Love components. You guys know I love components. So let's go ahead and Command S to save. And just check in the chat. Hey Barat, hey Rodney, hey Cornell. He said, love this font. It fits the coffee store perfectly. I think so too. And as always, if you want to export this as a video file, just go up here to the play button and you can press the record icon right here. And whatever you like scroll around or tap or hover on, it will record that. And then if you just press the record button again, you can save it wherever you want as an MOV. So let's hop over into Behance and we can preview the one that I've already uploaded. So if you want to see any of the projects that I've worked on during this 2-week series of challenges, you can just come to my first project on my Behance. And this is the MOV file that I uploaded today. So kind of fun with the button states. And as always, you guys know I harp on this. If you want to share your work, definitely go to Edit and Settings and head over to that Discoverability tab right there and make sure you add that keyword XD Daily Challenge so I can find your work and share it. I usually like to share it at the end of the stream, like 2 or 3 if I have time. So yeah, make sure you have that keyword. Cool, so let's go ahead and search. I might search on Discord as well too, but so I'm just searching XD Daily Challenge and we can just sort by most recent. So let's look at the ones from yesterday. Let's check this one out. And yesterday was all about scroll groups. And if you missed any of the new features that I kind of talked about or Howard talked about yesterday, we had a brand new release in XD. So you can come over here to Adobe's product page and you can check out all of these new features if you want to read more into them. So let's see. All right, so we were on Noya Nika's design. So thank you so much for sharing this if you're watching. And this was scroll groups. Awesome. So we've got this lovely mock-up. Let's take a look. Scroll group. We got the vertical scroll group. Awesome. In the latest column on the right there. That looks great. And it's so easy too. I was surprised how easy it was. Awesome. Let's see if we've got a horizontal scroll too. Very nice. And you're talking about 99U conference. Yeah. So 99U is all today. So if you missed any of these streams, definitely watch them on YouTube after this one. Awesome. And then we've got vertical scroll within this featured group. This looks so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. And maybe we have time for 1 or 2 more. Let's take a look at this one. So this was, I believe, the hover challenge. Yes, graph within an analytics dashboard. I do recommend you guys, if you are uploading your projects, just give a super short description. Doesn't have to be much. Just so myself, when I'm giving feedback, and potential employers, if you want to share this portfolio with employers, that they can have some context about what this project was about. So let's see. This looks awesome. Whoa, so cool. I love this graph. Pie chart, I mean. And we've got the hover. Wow, this is awesome. Great data visualization here. I love the visuals. So cool. And even CO2 was hover. That's cool. Awesome. Christina, great job. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's see, maybe just one more. I looked at this one yesterday. I don't think I looked at this one. Let's take a quick peek. Okay, so this one is by Muavia, and this was the news one again. Wow, very fancy. Love the mock-ups. Newsly. This looks super professional. Like I could see this being a real news site. So we've got horizontal scroll. I saw the horizontal scroll for the categories. Awesome. And a vertical scroll there. Yeah, this is great work. You fit a lot of content on here too. Awesome. All right, guys, that is about all the time that I have left for today. So thank you all so much for joining. I'll be back again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. And be sure to watch 99U on Behance all day. If you missed any of that, you can stream it after this one. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!